Welcome, traveler. Tonight we leave the wide harbor and journey into a quieter place, the silent fishing village. Here, time moves slowly, carried not by the rush of the day but by the steady rhythm of the sea. Wooden cottages line narrow paths, their lanterns dim, their doors closed, as families drift into sleep. Nets sway gently in the night breeze, empty of the day's catch, waiting for tomorrow's dawn. This is not a place of noise or labor, but of stillness, a place where the ocean hums softly against the shore, and the entire village breathes as one, resting beneath the silver glow of the moon. As you listen to this story, allow the quiet to wrap around you like a blanket. Let the calm of the village seep into your breath, steadying your heartbeat, soothing your mind. You are safe here. You are welcome here. Tonight, the sea will watch over you, and the silent fishing village will carry you gently into rest. The boat drifts closer to land, guided by the steady pull of the tide. As the mist parts, a row of cottages appears, their wooden walls weathered by salt and wind, their roofs low and sloping. Along the shoreline, lanterns glow faintly, small points of gold strung like pearls against the darkness. Each lantern sways slightly in the night breeze, their flames bending but never fading, reflections trembling across the water. You step onto the sandy shore, feeling the cool grains beneath your feet. The village is quiet, deeply so. No laughter, no chatter, no hurried footsteps. Only the hush of waves lapping against the beach and the distant creak of wooden boats tied to their moorings. The silence here is not empty, it is full, like a deep breath held by the world. The lanterns guide you along a path of stone that winds between the cottages. Each doorway is closed, each window shuttered, but faint warmth glows behind them. You imagine families resting inside, fathers who cast their nets at dawn, mothers who mend sails in the afternoon, children who fall asleep to the murmur of the sea. Their dreams drift outward now, mingling with the night air, filling the village with invisible threads of peace. You pause beside one lantern, watching the flame tremble within its glass frame. It flickers golden, yet its light feels deeper, as if carrying a memory older than the village itself. Perhaps it is the echo of countless nights like this one, when the sea was calm and the people rested, knowing the tide would always return. A faint sound reaches your ears, the soft splash of an oar dipping into water. You turn toward the shore and glimpse a lone fisherman rowing slowly toward the village, his small boat moving with the rhythm of the tide. His lantern glows at the bow, mirrored by the stars above, until it seems he is rowing through the sky itself. As he draws closer, he raises his head briefly, and though you cannot see his face, you feel the quiet acknowledgement of his presence. Two dreamers crossing paths in the stillness of night. He disappears into the mist, his boat sliding silently between the piers. The sound fades, leaving you alone again with the hush of the waves and the glow of lanterns. You continue walking, guided deeper into the village. The silence grows richer, layered with subtle sounds, the rustle of palm leaves, the distant call of a night bird, the sigh of wood expanding and settling in the cool air. Every detail whispers the same truth. This is a place of rest. At last, the path opens to a small square at the village's heart. A circle of lanterns glows here, their light reflecting upon the smooth stones. You pause, feeling the calm seep into you, as though the village itself has welcomed you into its embrace. Here, in the silent fishing village, every flame, every ripple, every breath carries you further from the world of noise and closer to the harbor of dreams. From the circle of lanterns at the village's heart, a narrow path leads you toward the shore once more. Here, beside the quiet cottages, rows of fishing nets hang upon wooden poles, swaying gently in the night breeze. Their strands glimmer faintly in the moonlight, silver threads woven with shadows, as if the sea itself has lent them a piece of its shimmering surface. The nets are empty now, waiting. By day, they are tools of labor, cast wide upon the water to gather the ocean's gifts. But tonight, they hang like tapestries of silence, their knots and loops forming patterns that seem almost like constellations, stars strung upon earth-bound frames. You pause and step closer. The ropes carry the faint scent of salt and brine, memories of the day's catch still clinging to them. Yet the scent is not harsh. It is softened by the cool air, mingled with the fragrance of blossoms drifting from the nearby gardens. The mixture is gentle, earthy and oceanic, grounding you in the rhythm of the village. As the nets sway, they whisper faintly, fibers rubbing against one another with the softness of cloth. The sound is so delicate it might be mistaken for the hush of the tide. You stand in silence, listening, until it feels as though the nets are speaking, not in words, but in the language of patience. They are reminders of the cycle that never ends. Cast, gather, rest, and begin again. A small moth flutters near one of the lanterns strung between the poles. Its wings catch the light for an instant, glowing white as it dances through the air, before vanishing again into shadow. You follow its brief path and feel a strange comfort. Even in this stillness, life continues quietly, softly, without disturbance. You walk between the rows, your hand brushing one of the nets. The texture is rough, the knots firm beneath your fingertips. But there is no tension in them tonight. The nets seem to rest as deeply as the people of the village. Their work complete, their strength restored in the arms of the night. Farther along, the nets cast long shadows upon the sand, stretching toward the sea. In the moonlight, the shadows resemble great wings folded in repose, as though the village itself has settled down to sleep, carried upon the shoulders of the ocean's breath. You pause at the last row, where a larger net hangs like a curtain. Beyond it, the sea glimmers faintly, the tide lapping against the wooden stilts of the pier. For a moment, you imagine the nets are not made of rope but of dreams, woven to catch the drifting thoughts of the day, holding them gently until morning light releases them again. The air grows still, the lanterns sway lightly, their glow painting golden halos upon the nets. Each flicker feels like a heartbeat, steady and reassuring, as though the entire village is breathing in unison with you. Standing here, Among the silent nets, you feel your own thoughts untangle. Knots of worry loosen. Threads of restlessness drift free. The stillness of the village has begun to weave its pattern within you. Quiet and steady, shaping your mind into something softer, calmer. When you turn to leave, you glance once more at the nets. They sway gently in the breeze, as though nodding farewell, or perhaps promising that when you return, they will still be here, silent keepers of the night, guardians of patience, woven from the sea's eternal rhythm. From the nets, the path draws you closer to the shoreline where the fishing boats rest. They line the shallow water like a small wooden fleet, each tied to its post, rocking gently with the rhythm of the tide. Their shapes are familiar, curved hulls worn by seasons of salt and sun. Patched sails folded carefully, ropes coiled neatly upon their decks. By day, these vessels are alive with movement, carrying men across the waves. But tonight, they are sleeping, guardians at rest beneath the silver gaze of the moon. The air here is filled with the fragrance of the sea, clean, sharp, touched by the faint memory of fish and brine. Yet even that scent is softened by the night air, mingling with the sweetness of damp sand and wood warmed by the day. It is not unpleasant, it is grounding, a reminder that the sea and the shore live side by side. Inseparable. Lanterns glow faintly on a few of the boats, their flames carefully shielded by glass. Each flame sways with the rocking of the hull, scattering golden ripples across the dark water. The reflections stretch and tremble, then fold back into stillness. It is as though the boats breathe with the tide, inhaling and exhaling light. You step closer to the water's edge. The sand here is cool beneath your feet, darkened by the lapping waves. One small boat floats just within reach, its bow nudging the post with a rhythmic tap. The sound is soft, almost like a heartbeat, steady and calming. You lay your hand upon its side. The wood is smooth, carrying the warmth of the day and the chill of the night all at once. The boat rocks gently under your touch, acknowledging you as if in greeting. Farther out, the larger vessels rest deeper in the harbor. Their tall masts rise into the night like dark spires, etched against the silver glow of the sky. Ropes creak softly, swaying in the breeze. Sails whisper faintly where they are furled. Even in stillness, the boats speak with voices low and ancient, part of the sea's endless song. You close your eyes for a moment. The rhythm of the water against the hulls fills your ears, the hush of waves, the creak of wood, the sigh of rope. It is a lullaby woven of elements: ocean, timber, flame, and air. Each sound folds into the next until they are indistinguishable, carrying you deeper into calm. When you open your eyes again, the moonlight shimmers across the boats, silvering their outlines, turning them into dreamlike silhouettes upon the water. They no longer seem like tools of labor, but like vessels of peace, each one a cradle for rest. You imagine the stories they carry, the journeys made at dawn, the storms weathered, the bounties gathered. Tonight, those stories sleep within them, folded like the sails. Tomorrow they will wake, but now, they are as quiet as the people of the village. A gentle breeze brushes past, carrying with it the faintest trace of a lullaby, perhaps a memory, perhaps the sea itself singing. You pause, listening, until the melody fades into the rhythm of the tide. The boats remain, swaying softly in the moonlight, keepers of silence, companions to the shore, and as you step back from the water's edge, you carry their stillness with you, as though a fragment of their rest has entered your own heart. Leaving the shoreline and the gentle sway of the boats, you follow a narrow cobblestone path back toward the heart of the village. The lanterns guide you step by step until the cottages open once again into the small square. A circle of stone nestled beneath the wide sky. At midnight, the square is hushed and still. No footsteps echo here. No voices rise in conversation. Yet the place feels alive in its silence, as if the very stones remember every gathering, every market, every celebration that has unfolded upon them. Tonight, they hold not the bustle of day but the serenity of rest. The lanterns strung around the square burn low, their flames soft and steady. They cast halos of warm light upon the ground, overlapping to create a gentle glow that feels less like fire and more like memory. Shadows stretch from the cottages inward, long and thin, weaving into one another until the square becomes a tapestry of gold and silver. You pause in the center. The air is cooler here, touched by the faint breath of the ocean drifting between the cottages. The sound of waves is distant, muted by the walls, yet still present, a reminder that even in the heart of the village, the sea is never far. At one corner of the square, an old well stands, its stones dark with age. A bucket rests against its side, the rope coiled neatly above. You step closer and peer within. The water at the bottom glimmers faintly, catching the reflection of the lanterns. It is so still it appears like polished glass, a mirror cradled by stone. You lean slightly, and for a moment you see yourself reflected, not sharply, but blurred, softened by distance, as though even your own image has been calmed by the village's stillness. Nearby, a wooden bench waits beneath a tree. You sit and rest, the wood smooth beneath your touch, worn by generations of hands and seasons. The tree above sways gently, its leaves whispering with the night breeze. Their sound is delicate, like the turning of pages in a book too old to read aloud, but still full of stories. As you sit, you notice the square is not entirely empty. A cat slips from one shadow to another, its paw silent upon the stone. It pauses near the well, eyes glinting in the lantern glow, then disappears again between the cottages. Somewhere, an owl calls from the distance, low, steady, patient. Each sound arrives alone, never hurried, never loud, and then melts back into silence. You breathe deeply. The square seems to breathe with you. The rhythm of your chest rises and falls with the same gentle pace as the lantern flames, as the sway of the tree, as the hush of the waves. Here, in this midnight square, everything has slowed to a perfect balance. You realize that this place is not empty at all. It is filled with quiet, with memory, with peace. The absence of noise is not a void but a gift, a reminder that silence can speak more deeply than words. When you rise again, the square seems to bow in farewell. The lanterns flicker softly, the well gleams faintly, the tree whispers once more. You step back onto the narrow path, carrying the calm of the square with you. The village continues, winding deeper into its quiet heart. And ahead, a faint glow hints at another story waiting to unfold in the night. From the quiet square, the path narrows once again, winding between cottages and garden walls draped with vines. You follow the lantern glow until the cobblestones give way to wooden planks. Before you stretches an old bridge, arching gracefully across a narrow inlet where the tide flows gently in and out. The bridge is simple in its construction, its wood weathered and pale from years of salt air. The posts lean slightly, ropes wound tightly around them to hold the structure firm. Each plank creaks beneath your step, not in protest, but like an elder speaking softly, reminding you of its age, its patience, its endurance. Beneath the bridge, the water moves in calm currents. Silver moonlight ripples across the surface, broken by the occasional dart of a fish. Their quick flashes of light echo the stars above, so that for a moment you feel as though you are walking not over water, but across the night sky itself. You pause at the center of the bridge. From here, the view opens wide. To one side lies the village shore, lanterns glowing faintly among the cottages, their reflections shimmering upon the tide. To the other, the sea stretches outward, mist curling low across the waves, the horizon softened into a dreamlike haze. Both sides are silent, both sides serene, as though the bridge itself rests between two worlds, the familiar and the infinite. Leaning against the railing, you listen. The wood hums faintly beneath your hands, carrying the sound of the tide moving against its posts. Water laps with a steady rhythm, joined by the distant creak of boats rocking in the harbor. The sounds blend into a harmony both delicate and deep, a lullaby written not by hand but by time itself. A small lantern hangs from the highest post, swaying in the breeze. Its flame flickers, casting shifting patterns upon the planks. You watch as the shadows stretch and fold, forming shapes that almost resemble wings, or waves, or perhaps simply the endless flow of dreams moving quietly through the night. For a moment, you close your eyes. The bridge rocks faintly beneath your feet, not from instability but from the pulse of the tide. It feels like being carried, gently and steadily, a reminder that even when standing still, life is always in motion, always flowing. When you open your eyes again, you notice a carving upon the railing, lines etched by a careful hand long ago. It is the shape of a fish, simple yet enduring, its form softened by weather and time. Perhaps it was carved by a fisherman waiting for dawn, or a child tracing the memory of the sea. Whatever its origin, it remains here still, a quiet testament to lives that passed, to stories that linger. The breeze shifts, carrying with it the cool scent of the ocean mixed with the faint sweetness of blooming night flowers from the gardens behind the cottages. The fragrance is gentle, calming, grounding you in the present moment. You stand for a while longer, letting the bridge hold you, letting the tide's rhythm sink deeper into your breath. Then, with a final glance at the moonlit water below, you continue across. On the far side, the path widens again, leading toward the village's edge where the sea and land embrace more openly. Ahead, a cluster of tall lantern poles glows against the mist, marking the entrance to the shoreline where another story waits. The old wooden bridge fades behind you, its lantern glow becoming a memory as the path opens onto the shoreline. Here, the village seems to yield completely to the sea. The cottages fall away, the lanterns grow sparser, and before you stretches a wide expanse of sand bathed in silver light. The beach is empty, untouched. The tide brushes the shore with delicate fingers, leaving behind a glistening mirror that reflects the moon and stars above. Each wave advances with a soft hiss, then retreats, drawing your gaze outward to the horizon. The sound is soothing, unbroken, eternal, like the earth itself breathing in its sleep. You walk slowly along the shore, your footsteps sinking gently into the cool sand. The grains sparkle faintly, catching the moonlight with each step, as if scattering fragments of dreams beneath your feet. The air is fresh and open here, carrying not just the scent of salt, but something lighter, like the fragrance of sleep itself. Sweet and endless, the shoreline curves ahead, dotted with tall poles that rise from the sand. Atop each pole rests a lantern, its flame glowing faintly, swaying with the breeze. The lanterns do not cast harsh light, instead, they scatter a warm golden haze, blending seamlessly with the silver glow of the moon. The two lights together, moon and flame, turn the beach into a pathway of calm. A road that seems to stretch into infinity. You pause near one of the lanterns, watching its flame tremble. The glass reflects your face faintly, but softer, blurred, as though even your reflection has begun to dream. Around it, moths drift lazily, their wings catching the glow like tiny stars that have fallen to earth. Each circle they make seems slower than the last, until even their flight feels like part of the village's deep rest. Further down the beach, a cluster of small fishing boats rests upon the sand, pulled high above the tide. Their hulls lean at quiet angles, their oars stacked neatly beside them. They do not move, do not sway, but rest as though they too are sleeping. Their dreams carried on the tide until morning. You sit for a moment upon the sand, letting the cool grains cradle you. The ocean spreads wide before you, its surface calm and endless, its voice steady and kind. The horizon glows faintly, a silver thread that blurs the line between sea and sky. Watching it, you feel the edges of your thoughts soften, dissolving into the same endless space. The night deepens, yet it does not grow darker. The stars shine more clearly, their reflections shimmering across the water. For a moment, you feel suspended between two skies, the real and the reflected, floating in a dream where boundaries no longer matter. You close your eyes. The waves continue their lullaby, matching the rhythm of your breath. Inhale with the tide's rise. Exhale with its retreat. Your body sinks deeper into the sand, and it feels as though the shoreline itself is holding you, rocking you toward rest. When you open your eyes again, the lantern path stretches further down the beach, leading toward a cluster of tall cliffs in the distance. Their dark outlines rise against the silver sky. Waiting, somewhere among them, you sense another story, another secret of the night ready to unfold. You rise slowly, brushing the sand from your hands. The lantern nearest to you flickers gently, as if nodding encouragement. With calm steps, you follow the shoreline onward, the tide at your side, the cliffs ahead calling softly through the mist. The shoreline narrows as you approach the base of the cliffs. Their dark shapes rise tall and solemn, etched against the silver glow of the sky. Mist clings to their edges, flowing like a soft veil, and the sound of waves striking stone echoes through the night. It is not loud, but deep, like the steady heartbeat of the earth itself. A narrow path winds upward along the cliffside, lined with lantern poles that cast faint halos of light upon the rocks. You climb slowly, the wooden steps firm beneath your feet, worn smooth by generations of villagers who have walked this way. The air grows cooler as you ascend, filled with the mingled scent of salt spray and weathered wood. At the top, the path widens into a small terrace carved into the cliff. Here stands the shrine, a simple structure of wood and stone, built long ago yet still steady, its surface softened by wind and time. A wooden gate frames the entrance, its beams dark and smooth, and just beyond it rests the small altar, glowing softly in the lantern light. The shrine is quiet, yet alive. Offerings rest upon the altar, shells polished by the sea, smooth stones shaped like hearts, dried flowers tied in bundles, and small carved figures of boats. Each gift is humble, yet each one carries weight, the gratitude of those who sail the waters, the prayers of those who wait upon the shore. You step closer. The wood beneath your hands is cool, carrying the memory of countless touches before yours. The lantern beside the altar flickers gently, casting light across the offerings, making them shine as though kissed by the moon. You bow your head, not in obligation but in quiet respect. The silence of the shrine is different from the silence of the village. It is deeper, older, a stillness that seems to extend beyond the cliffs, beyond the sea, into the very fabric of the night. Standing here, you feel not small, but connected, woven into something vast, tender, and eternal. A breeze stirs, brushing past your face, carrying with it the faint scent of incense. You realize the villagers must have lit it earlier in the evening, before retreating to their homes. The smoke lingers still, rising in delicate spirals that blend with the mist. It curls upward into the sky, as though carrying prayers on invisible threads. You close your eyes. The sound of the sea below merges with the flicker of the lantern flame and the soft hum of the breeze through the wooden beams. Together, they form a hymn without words, a hymn you feel rather than hear. With each breath, it sinks deeper into you, loosening tension, softening thought, filling you with a serenity that feels both ancient and new. When you open your eyes again, The shrine glows warmly in the lantern light. The offerings remain still, yet they seem to shimmer with quiet life, as if the prayers within them continue to breathe. Carried endlessly by the sea, you step back slowly, bowing once more in gratitude. The shrine does not answer, yet you feel its blessing, quiet and sure, resting upon your shoulders like a soft cloak. Beyond the terrace, the path continues upward, curling around the cliff toward a higher vantage point. From there, you sense the sea will reveal itself more fully, stretching wide beneath the stars. With calm steps, you follow, carrying the silence of the shrine with you like a lantern in your chest. The path curls higher along the cliff, the steps growing narrower, the lanterns fewer. Soon, the village lies far behind, its glow now just a faint scattering of golden dots against the shore. Ahead, the sky opens wide, and at last you reach the crest of the cliff. You step onto a broad ledge, its surface smoothed by wind and time. The air here is different, thinner, cooler, carrying the vast breath of the sea. You pause, and before you spreads a vision so immense it silences even thought: the ocean, endless and silver beneath the moon. From this height, the waves look smaller, yet their rhythm is no less steady. They roll toward the shore in slow succession, each one rising like a soft sigh, then dissolving into foam. The sound is muted by distance, softened into a deep hum that resonates through the stone beneath your feet. It feels as though the cliff itself is vibrating with the heartbeat of the sea. The horizon stretches infinitely, where sea and sky blur into one. Clouds drift lazily across the stars, their edges silvered by moonlight. Reflections shimmer upon the water below, so that for a moment it feels as though you are standing between two heavens, one above, one below. Yourself a quiet bridge between worlds. You sit upon a stone at the cliff's edge, allowing your body to rest fully. The rock is cool and firm, grounding you, holding you steady as the vastness unfolds. Looking down, you can see the faint glow of the lanterns strung along the shoreline far below, their golden lights tiny against the immensity of the sea. Beyond them, the village sleeps, cradled between earth and water, its silence drifting upward like incense into the night. The longer you gaze, the more the ocean begins to change. Not in form, but in presence. It no longer feels like a body of water alone, but like a great mirror, reflecting the boundless calm that waits within you. Each wave that rises and falls seems to echo your own breath. Each shimmer of light a reflection of your own quiet thoughts. You close your eyes. The wind brushes gently against your face, cool and constant. The hum of the waves merges with the rhythm of your breathing. For a moment, you feel yourself dissolve into the vastness, no longer a traveler upon the sea, but part of it, as infinite and calm as the horizon itself. When you open your eyes again, the view feels even larger, yet less overwhelming. The ocean is still endless, still vast, but it no longer holds distance or separation. Instead, it feels like home, an embrace without edges, carrying you effortlessly within it. A shooting star streaks across the sky, Its light brief but brilliant. It falls toward the horizon, vanishing into the line where sea and sky meet. You watch it fade, and in its absence you feel a quiet wish settle inside you, not for more, not for change, but for the simple continuation of this peace. The wind shifts, carrying with it the faint call of seabirds roosting among the cliffs. Their voices are soft, blending with the tide below. You rise slowly, carrying the vast calm of the view within you. The path ahead curves downward, leading back toward the sea itself. Somewhere below, you sense another meeting awaits, a moment of connection as timeless as the ocean's song. With quiet steps, you begin your descent, the memory of the horizon glowing in your heart like an eternal lantern. The path winds downward from the cliffside, curving gently until it returns you to the edge of the sea. The air grows warmer again, touched with the scent of salt and sand. Ahead, the shoreline stretches open, and you hear the steady voice of the waves before you see them, the eternal rhythm of the tide flowing in and out. When you step onto the beach, you notice the water has drawn closer than before. The tide is rising, pressing forward with slow determination. Each wave rolls in, brushing across the sand with a soft hiss, then retreating, only to return again. The motion is endless, patient, unhurried, a cycle as old as the world. You walk along the edge where sea and shore meet. The cool water laps gently against your feet, then slides away, leaving behind a shining trace upon the sand. With each step, you feel the tide greeting you, reminding you that nothing is ever truly gone. It always returns. Reshaped, renewed. The lanterns strung along the shoreline flicker in the mist, their reflections trembling in the wet sand. Above them, the moon casts her silver road across the sea, shimmering like an invitation into eternity. For a moment, you stop and watch as the two lights, the lanterns of the village and the lantern of the sky, merge together upon the water's surface, forming a path both earthly and celestial. The tide continues its work. With every wave that washes ashore, you imagine it carrying something away, a fragment of worry, a trace of thought, a knot of tension. The water gathers these pieces without judgment, carrying them back into the deep, where they dissolve and transform into calm. With each retreat, the waves return something new: peace, stillness, lightness. You pause, close your eyes, and let the tide guide your breath. Inhale as the wave rises, exhale as it falls, over and over, until your body and the ocean move as one. The sound is no longer outside of you, it is within, flowing through every corner of your being. Somewhere farther out, you hear the faint splash of fish breaking the surface, their movements small against the vast expanse. A gull calls once from the cliffs, then falls silent again. The world is not empty, it is alive, but in a way that honors the night's quiet. You kneel down and place your hand upon the wet sand. The water brushes your fingers, cool and fleeting. For an instant, the surface glows faintly in the moonlight, as though the tide itself recognizes your touch. You smile softly, knowing this connection has always been here, waiting. As you rise, The tide presses closer, its waves stretching farther upon the shore. The rhythm grows deeper, fuller, as though the sea itself is drawing you nearer. The lanterns along the beach sway gently, their flames reflecting upon the advancing water. It feels as though the village and the ocean are breathing together now, unified by the tide's return. The path of waves stretches endlessly before you, a silver thread unbroken, carrying you forward toward the final rest the night has promised. And with each step you take along the shoreline, you know the ocean will continue to return, again and again, carrying you deeper into serenity. The tide guides you back toward the village, its voice a steady companion at your side. The lanterns grow brighter as you approach, their warm glow flickering gently in the mist. Step by step, the familiar cottages appear once more, standing quietly beneath the silver moon. Their windows shuttered, their doors closed. The village is deeply asleep now. Not a single sound of work or movement lingers. The nets sway faintly where they hang. The boats rock softly at their moorings, and the cobblestone paths lie empty, washed in moonlight. Yet the stillness is not lifeless. It breathes, slow, steady, like a whole world at rest. You wander back into the small square at the heart of the village. The circle of lanterns still glows, but their flames are lower now, burning like embers. Shadows lengthen across the stones, blending into the night. The old well gleams faintly, its surface reflecting both lantern and moon, as though holding two lights within its depths. You sit for a moment upon the wooden bench beneath the tree. Its branches arch above, whispering softly in the night breeze. The air is cool and gentle, carrying with it the faint fragrance of the sea and blossoms drifting from nearby gardens. You breathe deeply, letting the scents settle within you, grounding you in this place of peace. Somewhere nearby, a door creaks open just slightly. A figure appears briefly, a villager stepping out to check the night. He pauses at the threshold, glances toward the lanterns, then turns his gaze to the sea. His shoulders relax as though reassured, and with a small nod, he disappears back inside. The door closes softly, leaving the village silent once more. You realize that every soul here is resting deeply, carried by the same rhythm that has guided you through the night. The village does not fight the silence, it embraces it, allowing the ocean to hold its people until morning comes. The cat you saw earlier slips across the square, tail curled, eyes glowing faintly. It pauses, glances at you, then disappears into the shadows between two cottages. Even this small movement feels unhurried, woven into the tapestry of calm. Above, the stars shine more brightly now, the moon steady in her silver throne. Their light falls upon the square, upon the cottages, upon you. It is a blessing, quiet but sure, a promise that peace will linger long after this night fades. You close your eyes for a moment, listening. The hush of the sea, the sigh of the trees, the faint crackle of lanterns, they merge into a lullaby, a final song of the silent fishing village. It carries you inward, softening your breath, loosening the last threads of wakefulness. When you rise at last, The village seems to bow around you, its lanterns flickering as if in farewell. You take one last look at the cottages, the nets, the boats, the square, the shrine, the cliffs, the shore. All of it rests in harmony, each piece a note in the great hymn of the sea. With slow steps, you return to the beach, where the dreamer's boat waits patiently. Its lantern glows warmly, steady as ever. You step aboard, and the vessel rocks gently, ready to carry you onward. Behind you, the village remains at rest, a cradle of silence and peace. Ahead, the horizon glimmers faintly through the mist, inviting you to drift deeper into the ocean of dreams. Tonight, you walk the quiet paths of the silent fishing village. You follow the glow of lanterns along the shore, past the rows of resting nets, listened to the sleeping boats, and stood within the stillness of the midnight square. You crossed the old wooden bridge, wandered the dreamlike shoreline, bowed at the cliffside shrine, and gazed upon the vast ocean from above. You felt the rhythm of the returning tide and witnessed the village at rest, cradled in silence beneath the moon. Now, as the dreamer's boat carries you gently away, you hold the peace of this place within you, the voices of the sea, the glow of the lanterns, and the calm of the night remain, wrapping around you like a blanket of serenity. Allow yourself to drift freely now, carried on the tide of dreams. The ocean will hold you, the stars will watch over you, and the village will remain, waiting quietly for your return. Rest well, dreamer. You are safe. You are home.